Welcome back to the MC65 FM podcast, the podcast where we explore the technologies, architectures, and real world decisions shaping the Microsoft ecosystem. Today, we are talking about a problem that many organizations do not recognize. Usually, the AI project begins producing unreliable answers. Everyone wants Copilot. Everyone wants intelligent agents. Everyone wants employees to ask natural language questions and immediately receive trustworthy business insights. But an AI system cannot compensate or for fragmented data, conflicted decisions, weak governance, or a semantic model nobody understands. So, what must exist between the raw data inside a lakehouse and AI experience to present to users? My guest is Walter Calcagno, a data architect, Microsoft MVP in data platform since 2019, and Microsoft certificate trainer, MCT. Yeah, Walter is co-founder of WeData, consultant especially in Microsoft Fabric and Power BI, and Unlearn Me, Unlearn Me?
Yeah.
Okay, Artificial in digital education venture focused on analytics. He's also the author of Architectura e Ingegneria de Datos. Huh? You have to forgive me, it's not my language, in which he has described the framework he applies with clients, including 7 layers architecture model, the Medallion pattern, Kimball dimension modeling, and 5-dimension AI readiness assessment. He teaches at the Universidad ICSI in Colombia, Palazzi, and uh, Namas Data in Barcelona, and he co-hosts the Spanish language podcast La Belleza de los Datos.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, welcome, Walter. I'm sorry for my yeah.
No, thank you to you, Mirko. I'm gonna say sorry for my English too because it's not my first language, but I will try to do my best. Yeah, it's my last name is pronounced Calcagno. It's coming from Italy. Yeah, yeah. My family is coming from Italy to Chile since 100 years ago. Yeah, almost 90 years ago. They are coming from, running out from the war. These typical European wars. So they're running out. They came to Chile and they start this family. So my last name pronounced in Italian, Calcagno. Capisci? Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and Italian is my third language too. So I'll try to do my best with this interview. So yeah, I'm working in data since 10 or 15 years because you know I I used to be an accountant. So I work as a study accountant and audit accountant in the university when I go into the college at the university. I started 2000. So that's 5 years I was studying accounting. So my profession is, and I am an accountant. And when I was working as an accountant, I see a lot of problems managing the lot of data only with a spreadsheet like Excel, and and in some companies we have this another Open Docs spreadsheet. That is they are good, but yeah, this company don't want to pay a license. So that is a very real thing in the Latin American people. Companies don't want to pay license. So yeah, we need to manage with the tools that we have. Yeah. After that, when I was in very trouble trying to manage all the data in spreadsheets, I learned SQL. So that was my first step into the data world, learning SQL when I was an accountant. So I start to manage my own databases, to prepare a lot of reports for the different accounting and financial perspective. And then with when the pass of the years, Power BI take to life the same day that I am on birthday. Power BI released on July the 24th, and I am the birthday in July the 24th. So it was a very good birthday gift. And
Yeah.
I started with Power BI, and Then I left all the content practice and I start to dedicate 100% of the time of data analytics, and then I learn all the things like big data, Spark, and all the technologies across the big data, and now apply it to the artificial intelligence. So my vocation with the data is to deliver all this knowledge into Spanish, because there is a bunch of content in English. All the people want to make content in English. Actually, there is a big joke when you are trying to learn something. Always there is an Indian guy speaking in English teaching you. So you know, all the people is delivering content in English, but there is no people delivering content in Spanish. So with a bunch of MVPs from Spain, from all Latin America, uh, we get this mission to create content only in Spanish for the Spanish people, because we don't want to be only a translator. We want to create content in Spanish. It's for taking this knowledge from all the people like you, like the MVP team and the Microsoft and the people from Google, from Amazon Web Service, because they are very, very good people. Create a lot of content and we adapt that and deliver it in Spanish. So I think we have a very, very critical community in the Spanish language, delivering this content and delivering the knowledge about AI, about data, and about a lot of things. But that is the purpose of why I am creating things and why all my content is on Spanish. Not because I don't know English. It's because it's my mission to create Spanish content for the people who don't speak English. So it's, yeah, that is a little thing about me.
So yeah, you also co-host the Belleza de los
Ah,
Datos. Uh,
La belleza de los datos. La belleza de los datos.
yes,
Yeah, la
yeah.
belleza de los sounds pretty good.
What does the beauty of data mean to you
Yeah,
personally?
the beauty of data. Yeah, it's a podcast. We started with Janina Cohen. She's a Argentinian MVP of data platform. Uh, the idea of this podcast is to make a conversation about a lot of things around the data world. It's we start the first chapter in the Microsoft Studios, this MVP Summit in March, and then the second one we make it on online. Now we're gonna make the third chapter in Argentina, because I'm traveling to Argentina this in a few weeks, and the idea is to take yeah, we're going to participate in the Data Southern Latam. It's an data event only for Latin American people, from Spanish speaking people. On there's 3 days with 60 60 speakers. It's gonna be a very, very great event. And that in that occasion we're gonna record and deliver the third chapter of this podcast. So the idea is, yeah, with the distance we need to manage that from one way or another and start to deliver. Yeah, yeah, we have a 1,000 subscriptor of the podcast. So it's yeah, it's a very good numbers for the Latin American, for the Spanish speaking world. So it's we're very happy with that. That is the beauty of the data.
Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, um, and I also see the yeah the community in Spanish. The Spanish community is also fast growing and on the Microsoft ecosystem. That's really
Yeah.
interesting. So we plan also do, but yeah, we are team. No one speaks really Spanish, but we plan also do a conference in Spanish. The MR60 Con net also in Spanish next year. So
Oh,
we
so
hope.
it's gonna be amazing. Invite me.
Mm, and but let's a little bit talk at the Microsoft staff. You work with many different aspects in the Microsoft data ecosystem. When did Power BI become an important part of your work?
You know, Business questions. Business question is the main issue, is the main problem in all the companies. They want to answer for make decisions. So that is the very important thing, to answer business questions. That is, and for answer the business question, there's a lot of tools for that. Yeah, you can use a Python code, you can use R, you can use, yeah, a lot of products from Tableau, from Google, from, yeah, and it is a reality. So
Excellent.
co- companies wants to use the people. Sorry, companies want to answer this business question. So the real thing in the company world, uh, there is only three big brands making all the 90% of the tools. So we have Google tools in the third place, Microsoft tools in the second place, and Amazon Web Service tools in the first place. Delivering all the data technology for all the companies. So, but in data, Amazon has QuickSight, but QuickSight is not so easy for business people. Yeah, you need to know about code. It's a tool for IT people, but not for business people. So Power BI has this particular advantage because it's a tool for non-IT people. It's for business people. It's a pretty easy to make a dashboard. You take um, a table, pick up the data, deliver to the screen, and you're gonna have a graphic, and it's in interactive. So it's a very good tool, very intuitive, with a very user experience. So to me, that is the reason, because Power BI is the lead of these business intelligence questions. What's happened with the data, and why this is happening. So that is the the thing that I think uh, they are they are leading. Then you have Tableau. Tableau is a very good tool, but to me, with the sale to Salesforce, yeah, come on, it's like a mm, start to, with a balloon, we start to going down. So that is the thing I think with Tableau is they miss the goal, they miss the north of the route. And yeah, Google is working hard in his tool. They like always in Google, they change them third times. They start with data something, then it was Looker, now it's data something again. So yeah, I think they are working in a very good tool, very intuitive. Yeah, but still they don't have the all the market. So companies go to the tool that your main IT provider offers. So that is the reality. Power BI is the lead because Microsoft is the lead in data analytics in the company. So that's the main reason. And actually, there is a very easy and intuitive tool.
Mm. Yeah. Uh, you say at the start, what is really interesting. I see a lot of companies, they do more, yeah, they doing reports, but they don't ask business questions. What what tips can you give to ask good business questions to the data?
Yeah, yeah. The original question is the traditional answer to that question is go to your KPIs, your OKR. But to me, the very good business questions are the first one. There are four. The first one, what happened with that? That is the main, the real first question. What happened with the sales? What happened with the cost? What happened with whatever the company is doing? And that is the first business question. And what happened with, that is business intelligence. When you answer that question, you're getting business intelligence. And then you have the second business question: why this happened? And that is a very interesting question, because you need a lot of math to answer that, because you need to see correlations, you need to see what's going on, what is the probability about this when this other thing happened. So that is a very interesting thing, why this is happening. But answer that with no bias. You need to answer that with the numbers. So that is a very second big business question. And the third one is how this is going to happen, or what will going on with this data. That is the third business question, because we all wants to be a this crystal balls to see the future. So when you get that, you can use it. So that business question you can answer with probabilistic models. And probabilistic models, we are getting into AI. That is what you learn. You need to understand the data to project to the future that behavior. So that is the third one. And the fourth one is how we do for this will happen. And and you get that with the recommendation models, like when you go to Netflix or whatever another streaming channel, and they offer you a series, they offer you a movie, they offer you something. Yeah. Yeah, and you go to this algorithmic and you say, wow, it's magic, how this know what I like it. Yeah, that is probabilistic models. They are mathematical advanced models. Apply it to your natural behavior with the tool. So that is the fourth business question. So when the companies start to answer business question, they are going to adopt that they nearly they need. So companies don't need to make more dashboard. They need to answer more business question, because the real business is on the street. They need to sell, they need to pay, they need to hire, they need to uh, make whatever thing, because the market is hard, and to survive in the market, because it's hard, you need to answer this question. So I think the real question is that what is the very good business question, not what is the best tool. The tool, yeah, tool is a tool, and this is tool are going to disappear. A few years ago, we have the Visual Fox Pro. Visual Fox Pro, it was a very good database tool and disappeared. There is no more Visual Fox Pro. Yeah, we have a lot of time with COBOL. All the people are programming in COBOL. Now COBOL is not anymore. Tools are going to evolutionate, are going to disappear, but the business questions are the same here and in 18,000. So the real thing is how we answer that business question.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's yeah, that's I think that's the magic
Yeah.
to ask good business questions. And I think that's also makes for me good leaders. They can ask good questions, and yeah, that's I see a lot of people report because they have to report. Um, you say we a lot of yeah stuff is going. So I think we have a lot of companies have started for years with Excel, then they have built their data platforms. I see on SQL databases, and now there's something coming new in the game. It's Microsoft Fabric. How has your role changed since Microsoft Fabric entered the market?
Well, Microsoft Fabric is a big bet of Microsoft. The data platform at Microsoft start with Azure. And in Azure, they start to deliver a lot of platform as a service. That this platform as a service, this PaaS, there was with the started with big Lakehouse. Yeah, I'm sorry, big buckets of data with this blob storage accounts. So the idea is to make a delivery of a bunch of data in the cloud for managing, for analytics, and they start with a lot of product, for data purpose, thinking in big data. But the thing that of that all these separated tools is when you go there, you always start to hire the same products. You buy the same product. When you go to Azure, you go to blob storage because you need to um, save the data. You need data flows for moving data. You need a set of tools that you always go into there. So Microsoft think, hey, all the people is buying all these tools. Why we don't have all these tools in one big software as a service? And that is Fabric. Fabric is big data and machine learning for companies in one software as a service. That is the you don't need to buy separate tools for do the same. So it's one big tool for big data into the companies. The idea of this big data, you can manage of your data from different sources. They start with a concept like the OneLake concept is yeah, it was the same concept of OneDrive. In Microsoft 365, you have OneDrive because it's only OneDrive for all the company. Yeah, in the big data of Fabric, you have OneLake. So OneLake get all the data with shortcuts, with and they are using a technology, a beautiful technology created for Databricks. Databricks create a technology named Delta Lake. Delta Lake is a way to manage data, parquet data, with a lot of metadata. They give you the ability to transform the data into ACID patterns. So with the ACID, you can manage all your data like a SQL database. So it's amazing because you get a lot of that. That technology, Delta Lake, Microsoft take it because it's open source and deliver into OneLake. So OneLake is Delta Lake. So it's a very faster, very easy. It's a very good technology, open source technology. So you don't have to pay for that technology, that license. Microsoft is always asking you for the license about the service, but not for the license because it's open source. And then for manage the data, you have Spark, Power BI, and a lot of open sources streaming data managing. So yeah, Fabric is all that. It's a bunch of technology of big data in easy for the companies. So yeah, Fabric has right now 2 years in the market, and there is a lot of content in that. So uh, I've been working with Fabric in some companies here in Chile, in the States, and Spain, delivering a lot of data solutions. When now they are working with data agents into Fabric. So yeah, you can mix all the new things, AI technologies with your data business, but the idea of that is to answer business questions. So that is a very good implementation. When you answer very good business question, yeah, the tool works perfect.
Yeah. What I found really interesting, we talk about fabric and so on. But another topic we are not so often talk, it's the organ, yeah. Or I try to say that. Um, One of your core messages is everyone wants Copilot on their data, but most organizations skip the governance semantic layer that makes it work. What exactly are they skipping?
What exactly is the semantic layer or Copilot working with semantic layer?
Yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah.
when they don't, I think a lot of companies say, "Oh, we already have the data in Fabric or somewhere, so why we can't connect an AI model direct to it?" How did you something like
Oh,
this?
yeah. There is a mechanic for using AI into data. Is that mechanic is independent of the tool. You need to prepare your database server with an MCP server. MCP is a protocol. The real is a Python script for allowing to access your data for the RAG instance. An RAG instance is the ability to from an LLM to get data from your database and answer some prompts with your data. So that is the mechanical. And that mechanic you need to make it with whatever tool you are using. So if you have a SQL database, an open source database into your company, you need to start with an MCP, and you need to deliver the RAG. There is no way how to do it, nothing with that. So in the fabric's perspective, there is semantic model. Semantic model is you know, it's a Kimball's idea, uh, because semantic model is a Kimball's order way for database. You don't have entity relation in that. You have another modeling way that is for data mart. For Kimball's, the idea is to get a very good data mart, and with the sum of the data marts, you're gonna have a data warehouse. And that is the semantic models into Fabric. You have little data marts with all your data, very moderated for a report perspective. And Copilot, or the LLM you want, with Claude, with Gemini, with whatever you want, there is no limit with that. Uh, Need to go into that data. That data in the Fabric lives in the semantic model. But
Mhm.
what happens when you have a lot of semantic models? Yeah, and that is a reality in the companies. You have another tool over that semantic model, and that is the I forgot the name in in English. There is a overlayer that is a semantic model is the first one, and the second one it's you can edit that dude. It's oh, yesterday I was working in that. It's
Uh, the logical layer?
yeah, it's a logical layer, but that logical layer has another name. It's let me search. Yeah, yes, it's all in in something that uh, ontology. Yeah, the over you have the semantic layer, and then you have the ontology layer. So the ontology layer, what the ontology layer says, make the relationship between semantic model without creating a big semantic model. So that ontology layer allows you to whatever LLM to go into your data in a modeling of data, not a relationship model. It's a it's a graph relation model. So the idea with the ontology model is layer is to allow that ontology layer to the LLM, whatever LLM, you know, whatever. When I say whatever, is whatever the open source. There is more than 1,300 models allow it to go with the semantic layer. uh, Go into there and start the RAG, start to get your data for answer your question. So in a safe way, so that is the thing. The data is going to live into your semantic model. That semantic model can communicate with another semantic model using this ontology layer. And with the ontology layer, you can allow that for an LLM and start to make questions from your business to make business questions. And of course, you can go with all the security and yeah, if you don't have access to the data, they're not to give you because you are not allowed to access that. They are going to anonymize the sensitive data into your data. Yeah, it's a very good tool, and that is the idea with Fabric. Make semantic layers and make ontology layers. With ontology layers, you're going to allow your data uh, get ready for AI, because all the companies wants AI right now. Yeah, we need to give them AI.
Mm. Yeah, that's a good yeah yeah step for my next question. So what is the difference between data being available, understandable, trustworthy, and yeah, generally AI ready?
It's a good question. Data, you need to work with data with different layers, with different perspective. That is the reason because we have this medallion architecture into that. I don't like the medallion name, because after the medallion name, we always say, yeah, we are gonna get the three layers, but you can have two, you can have three, you can have five, you can have seven, you can have a lot of layers of data. There is no deal with that. Now the marketing people start to speak about the medallion layer, and all the people think that you need only three layers. No, that is not true. You can have two, you can have three, you can have four, whatever you need, but always minimal two. The minimal two are the staging layer. You get data from the software's perspective and get and save that into um, the first layer. Now all the people start to say bronze. Uh, Yeah, well, yeah, there is a lot of company they put another name like roll. A lot of people say that is the staging. Well, different layers, different names from the same layer. So the purpose of that layer is to get the data into a historical perspective. So I want that data from today, from tomorrow, from whatever the date is coming, and save that in that layer. You don't worry for duplicate, you don't worry for consistency. You need the historical layer, the historical data into there. That is the first purpose of the data. Then you have the silver, and the silver layer, or ready for something layer, ready for BI, ready for, there is different names in that. Now marketing says it's a silver layer. Okay, silver layer. And you get ready the data clean. You save the duplicates, go into the primary keys, foreign keys, all the data is matching, all the data is consistency. You see the sum is coming, is the same sum you have in the operational software. So yeah, that is a very good layer, and you can start to do a lot of things with that layer. You can start to make business intelligence. You can start to make um, a little of machine learning, but then you need a specific layer or a specific data sub control. And that is the goal, is the purpose of the gold the gold layer. Data ready for something. So when I go into the machine learning model for make a predictive something, I'm gonna take a specific data from the silver layer, put it into the gold, and with that data, I'm gonna start to make my machine learning. With that data, I'm gonna start to make my deep learning. So when you prepare your data for a specific tool, that is the data ready for something. When you need data ready for AI, you need to prepare your data for a real cost benefit uh, reason for AI, because you don't want to spend a lot of tokens, into data that is garbage. Token is expensive, so you need to get the specific data for your tokens, make a real profit of that. You don't want to spend your tokens, making iteration. So you need to prepare that data for the real cost benefit of that token value. So uh, that is the big difference. That is data ready for AI. It's data ready for to make your best ROI from your tokens. And sometimes some company says, "Hey, I need all my data ready for something." Yeah. So when they want all your data uh, ready for AI or ready for an LLM or ready for a specific tool, you need
Mhm.
to prepare these semantic layers. You don't need to work with data, you need to work with metadata. So for metadata, you prepare the semantic layer, or for this metadata, because it's so expensive to get all the data ready for. You work in the semantic layer. You work in the ontology layer. Yeah, I need to learn or practice that word in English. Ontology layer, ready for whatever they want. But with a big warning: if you get more data, you're going to spend a lot of tokens, whatever the tool it is, because tokens is the way how the LLMs works. Not only Cloud, Gemini works for token, Copilot works for token. All the LLMs works for tokens, and token is getting expensive day by day.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, you say metadata. How can metadata help on this problem? So I see a lot of, I say, different departments use different definitions for revenue, customer, margin, or active employee. How should an AI system decide which definition is correct?
No, they don't decide. You need to prompt that. You need to define what is your definition of the KPI. If you have sales in your perspective, you need to prompt that into the LLM. So you don't need to you don't have to allow to the LLM to decide something because you're doing wrong. You need to teach that LLM how that works for your company, and they have to do it that your company needs. So you don't have to decide. So that is the reason, because you have to make very good prompts into your agent, because if you make good prompts, you're gonna have a minimal risk of hallucination of the LLM into your data. So you don't need to allow the model to decide. This is not the way how to use the LLMs.
Mm. Yeah, interesting. Let's talk about your five dimension AI data readiness assessment. What are those five dimensions?
When I go to with my company with data, go to a customer, a client, and they say, "Yeah, we need to get AI into our data." Okay, let's do it. But I need to know how are you into the data perspective. So this five dimensions assessment is a tool that we create with data for to make a measure of, not to make a measure, to we want to know how far are the company ready for AI adoption. You know, and that five dimension are governance, technology, um, political decision, internal political decision, not a political party decision. Human resource ready training. Yeah, with that five dimension, we take a view how the company it is, and see what we have to work first. If they don't have governance, we need to work governance first. If they don't have the human resources properly trained, we need to train that first. And when we get that five dimensions fully covered, we can start to work into the whatever data solution they wanted, with machine learning, with deep learning, with business intelligence, with whatever thing. That is the the AI adoption assessment. That is the purpose of that assessment. We have applied in a lot of companies here in Chile and into outside of Chile, and it works. It works for the purpose because they have a measure. This is it's a picture of your company, how they are right now, what they have to work first after to work into the AI adoption. You know, you're gonna take your money directly into the trash if you go with a big LLM. If your people don't have idea about the prompts. That is a real fact. So to avoid the people, the companies spend your money like like disappeared like magic. We apply that assessment, and there's a very good tool. Probably we're gonna publish that. We're gonna keep applying that into some companies, and when we have a lot of experience, we're gonna publish that like a method. That is the idea. You know, this is a tested method of how to take measures with this 5 dimension into companies before adoption AI, before adoption BI, or whatever they want to adopt.
Mm, yeah, awesome. Um, I I think yeah. Uh, there it's also you call it the 7-layer architecture model. That's from your book. Uh, how do you define the 7-layer architecture model? And
So there are seven layers.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, 4 layers. Yeah, it's a little inspired about the tribune and quadrivium. They're all liberal arts. Yeah, yeah, it's a coincidence. It's not inspired, but I was remember that is a yeah, because we have 3 layers uh for all the company. The first one is governance. You need to govern all the data in all the steps. You have the monitoring layer. You need to monitor, to see what's going on in all your data solution. You need to make the security of all your company on all your data. So there's the first 3 layers into the bottom of this model. Then you have 4 layers. That four
Mhm.
layers are functional. Is the path of the data. So you get the first one. The sources. What is the sources? Because the data source is very important because I it's not the same thing to get data from a database, from a SQL database, from a non SQL database, or coming from an API. Sometimes you need to scrap that data from a source. So yeah, there is a different techniques to get data from the source. So that is the first layer. Then you need to save that layer into the warehouse or oh, no, no, that is this third one. The second one is to get the data. What is the best way to get that data? This data is coming in streaming, so I need a streaming solution to move that data. That I can get that data from different space of time. So I need to move that data into little packets from the source to the save, and we use pipelines from that perspective. That is the data engineering layer, the way how to move that data from the source to the destiny. And the destiny is the third layer. That is where I'm going to save that layer. Probably I'm going to use a database, a data warehouse, a data mart, a lakehouse, or wherever I want to save that data for the fourth layer. That is the analytic layer, because I need to go for that layer every time for a different perspective. The fourth layer, it's for analytics, and you can go into that with a business intelligence solution, with a data science solution, with machine learning, deep learning, or AI solution. It is so companies with these 7 layers of architecture can make a can design a very good experience using your data for make better decisions, and you can get that into a few seconds. They're gonna take a lot of time moving the data from one time to another to transform that data into a decision if they go for these 7 layers. So that is the message of these 7 layers in my book.
Mm, okay, cool. I think what what is the main step to make uh, data AI ready? What's the misconceptions companies have here? What's the difference between, I don't know, use data in Power BI and use it in in AI systems like Copilot?
Oof. It's a good question. First one, you don't need to go to the raw data always. When you have a big data, go to all the different uh, minimal step of data. That is not cost efficient. Uh, so the first one, you need to get a very good metadata in your data. So the first thing, go to the good metadata. When you have a good metadata, you can implement a lot of AI solutions into your data, because AI goes to metadata, find what they need, and then go to the data. So you need to create that root layer. It's like a map. When you drive from one city to another, you go to the street. You go for the main street. You go for the highway. Uh, you don't go to the little streets. The whole in every town you find it. No, you're never gonna find your destiny. So you go to the freeway. Then you move to the streets, and then you go to your exactly point. That is the same thing in the data. You don't you don't need to allow your LLM to get all your data scanning and then no, that is not cost efficient. You need to create that roads, create that streets, and the specific little street when your data leaves. So that is metadata. And that is the first job, to create a good metadata, to create this map for your LLM to get exactly what they need, the data. And the LLM can take the freeway, they go to that, get the data, and answer you. So that is the first step. That is the importance of the metadata. That's the first step.
Mm.
To get good metadata. If you don't have good metadata, you are not gonna have a good LLM or AI solution into your data. That is the first one. And yeah, there is a lot of job in that. You have Yeah, there is a lot of technique for manage that.
Awesome. Yeah. I think a lot of companies have their problems to get AI ready. On a lot of products, it stands okay. It's AI ready. It's AI ready. Yeah. Um, what did you say? What impact has governance on AI readiness?
Oh, total impact. If you have a governance company, um, you're not ready for AI. Yeah, you can get the best metadata, the best plan, but if you allow whatever people to get data from your data, you're not governance. The question is, if there is no responsible for one thing, you are not governance your data. You have a very good tool implemented, but
Hmm.
it's not a safe business into that. Some companies, you don't need to allow people to know the salary of the another people. You don't allow, get the social number for another people. Why do I have to know the phone number and the address from Mirko in your
Hmm.
data? We're colleagues. We work in the same company. Yeah, but you and me and 1,000 more people working here, and I don't need to know what is your address, what is your phone number, because it's your private life. So if I get that, my data is not fully governed. So it's whatever thing, but it's not a company. It's not a serious company. So the governance is very important from that perspective. You need to allow to access the data for the people who really need to access that data for make better decisions. And all the people working in the company don't get the same decision. They don't need access to all the full data. They need some portion of the data for major business. So that is the reason, because you need to govern your data into the company, because to me is the main thing, to make a properly governance with your data, and don't allow people has no access to your data. No access. That is
Yeah. Yeah, I think that it's yeah, it's a real interesting topic. Um, have you tried these? I think yeah, newer tool. It's called I think Fabric apps.
Fabric apps. Wow. Yeah. I implement Fabric apps in two companies in this year, and yeah, and it works perfectly. When you get, yeah, companies where implement that, they have a lot of good metadata, and these Fabric apps allow them to make faster some data. Forget the word. You have some process in your company. When you have some process in your company, you need data for, obviously, for data and steps for make something. So in some cases, you need a lot of steps of decisions or whatever you need to do for transform that data into a decision, whatever the decision it is. Sometimes you need to release some data for, for inspections. You need to release some data for, tax purpose or for governance purpose, or maybe a stakeholder needs data for something. So that is a process, that is a responsible, that is data. So make a combination of that process with the data, and the purpose is a fabric apps. And that fabric app is a kind of application for that purpose into the data. So when you apply that and you have a lot of process, repeating process, it's better to make an app for that. So it's easy. Probably you're gonna have 1,000 stockholders into your company, and all they want are personalized reports of something. Yeah, to get one people writing all these personalized reports for 1,000 stock auction, forget it. It's a bunch of work. So a Fabric app make you a solution for that, because you program that, you can deliver, you get the access to the properly data, and they make it for you. So it's a very good solution. It's try to make magic into your company with data and with a little bit of AI. It's yeah,
Mm.
very good tool. I like it.
Will it kill Power BI or?
No, no, the tools. No, we're gonna not gonna kill Power BI. I think Power BI, no, into the real world, all the solutions, when there is an evolve in that, they're not disappear. They get into the new one. For example, for data meaning, all the people start to speaking of data meaning. Oh no, in the 2000, now nobody's speaking of data meaning. But data mining is still working into Power BI. The first step you do in Power BI is data mining, and then you can make business intelligence. Yeah, people don't ask. Yeah, we stop a law of appeared in stop of appears in the news, the data meaning, but that don't means data meaning disappeared. Data meaning is still living into Power BI, is still living into BigQuery, is still living in another, in all the data tools, still living in there. So to me, it's not gonna happen that Power BI will disappear. Probably Power BI is gonna live in another big tool, but it's still living. It's the same thing with SQL. SQL starts in 1960s. It's about 80 years without SQL, and SQL is still living. Still living into the lakehouse, still living into the warehouse, still living into the database, it's still living in the no SQL database. So SQL is still living. So it's not gonna disappear. Probably it's gonna be part of another solution, more bigger, more harder, or something. So I don't think it's gonna disappear.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, we're running a little bit out of time, I see. But yeah, I have in every session I have a rapid fire round. So I give you a short yeah, short questions, and you give a short answer. Okay.
Okay,
Lakehouse or warehouse?
Lakehouse.
Import mode or direct lake?
Wow, wow. Depends. For AI, direct lake. For report, import mode.
Power BI desktop or browser based development?
Power BI desktop.
SQL or Python?
Oh, they are different. They are different. It's like chocolate cake or cookies cake. Yeah, yeah, it's different. Yeah, SQL for database and Python for machine learning. Yeah,
Uh,
but
DAX
which one I prefer? I prefer both. Yeah, no, I don't have favorite.
or SQL?
Which one?
DAX or SQL?
SQL.
Okay. Notebooks or pipelines?
No books.
Calculate columns or measures?
Measures.
One enterprise semantic model or multiple domain models?
Ontology models. Yeah, it's another one. I prefer semantic models because the scheme was 100%. But now, when you try to connect to get a very, very, very good semantic model, that is not working. So the 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 ontology models work for that. So yeah,
Self-service freedom or centralized control?
centralized control.
The most underrated fabric feature?
Yeah, I cannot say because I'm working in one private something of fabric that's but now Uh, fabric agents. Fabric agents use that. It's a very, very interesting. Now it's on public preview. It's working, and we implemented in a couple of companies right now, and they are yeah, fabric agent. Go to that
Uh, MCT or MVP?
MVP. Yeah, yeah. No, MVP is a very good community. We speak a lot. And yeah,
Yeah. Uh, I every time get this answer when I've asked this question.
yeah,
Um,
because MCT is for job purpose. It's a good tool, but it's a certification to allow you to teach. That is MCT. The community, yeah, it's a little bit close. We're they are very they're not shiny like the NBB. NBB community, you got the community, you have events. Yeah, it's very good community.
yeah, when Satya Nadella call you and say, Walter, you get all the money and resources for Microsoft you want uh, to develop the one feature on the data platform, what will it be?
The utopic. Oh, yeah, it's a good question. The answer is Excel.
Okay.
Yeah. Why? Why? Because Excel is the most useful tool for a lot of people. It's very easy to use, and every time people are using Excel, Excel is the tool that all the world economy is supported. So, yeah, we need to put more money into that because every time Excel is getting more using more multi-purpose. Yeah, people need that, and Excel needs a very good refresh.
What guest should I invite next, and what is the secret question I can ask him?
Ooh, Gaston Cruz from uh, he's from Uruguay, but is living in the States since 10 years. Uh, is one of director of the Slalom company and Microsoft MVB data platform. So you can invite him and make these questions. Uh, Signups of Fabric.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for staying here with me. So my closing question is: what is the one thing people should take away from this session?
Oof. Oh, good question. Say it again, please. I
Uh,
keep
what's the one thing people should take away from this session today?
get into the semantic model and ontology models. That is a good uh, I would I would think they need to learn and make a deep diving into that. It's the future. It's a part of the future.
Yeah, yeah. Then I say, yeah, what else? Thank you for joining me on the podcast. I think you help us understand why successful I doesn't not does not begin with a chat prompt or even a language model. It begins with architecture, trustworthy, and shared business division definitions. Yeah, responsible governance, and yeah, so semantic layer capability. And also, thank you for letting us look in your both in your framework and yeah, and your frameworks. That was also amazing. Thank you so much. And yeah, for the guests on the MC65 podcast who will connect or learn more about Walter, you find all the data in the show notes on the button on the MC65 FM podcast. And yeah, thank you for being here. This was amazing.
No, thanks to you for the invitation and being happy to be there. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye bye.